Lou, a lot of us here in Toronto always keep our eyes on David Price because of what he meant to this team last year during the stretch run, and we saw him sign that ridiculous
He's laughing
contract.
already.
Yeah,
Lou's
because he
laughing
knows.
already.
What's the temperature of the fan base watching the amount of money the Red Sox spent on that guy and looking at his ERA that's north of 4.30?
A lot of people wished you guys ponied up and paid the money and kept him, to be perfectly honest with you, at this rate. I can't figure him out. And, I was surprised because I do believe that, when a player leaves an organization for the first time and comes somewhere new, there are expectations, there are pressures. Just the familiarity with everything around him changes, and that first year can be extremely difficult. But I thought David was different, being in Detroit, leaving Tampa, being in Detroit, going to Toronto, being asked to kind of be an ace of a staff there and carry a team late into the postseason. And he came here, and it looks like he is just lost right now. I mean, the one thing everybody gives him credit for is when the game is over, he is accountable. I have to be better. This isn't me. I will be better. I was awful tonight. I didn't know where anything was going. I mean, he's had those moments where at least you stand up and say, okay, well, he's not telling everybody that he felt great and he threw the ball well and he's getting bombed. But at the same point, we're 4.5 months into the season. Everyone's like, okay, enough. I don't want to hear that after a game.
Yeah.
Can you go on some kind of run? I mean, if the Red Sox miss the postseason, one of the biggest reasons is going to be because of David Price, who's making $1 million a start.
Mm-hmm.
No, people are frustrated.
Yeah, 11-13 is his win-loss record the team's win-loss record when he starts games, and it's not what you pay someone $250 million for, I'm guessing. It's interesting, though, you talk about how he struggled, and some other guys that have struggled on that team. You've also got some great stories there. Don't look now, but the Toronto Blue Jays in first with the Orioles. They both lose yesterday. Boston wins. You're only a game and a half out. Are you surprised because, your big free agent acquisition hasn't played very well at all, that you guys are still in the mix, still in the conversation?
Yeah, I think it really has to do with other guys. I mean, Rick Porcello is kind of giving you what you thought you were going to get from David Price. I mean, he's been outstanding, and Stephen Wright. As long as it's not raining or humid, he's actually a pretty good pitcher too. But if it's raining,
we have one of those here too, Lou.
Yeah, we got one of those. We got one of those guys. As long as it's not raining or humid or cold, should be just fine.
Or the moon's gravitational pull. Yeah.
Who's that in Toronto? Who's that guy?
That'd be R.A. Dickey.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, it's funny. The knuckleball. Are these guys like goalies?
The knuckleball can be a very capricious animal.
Yeah. It just stands to reason, though. We've kind of been through this with R.A. Dickey, and I don't know if you've been through it with Stephen Wright, even though he hasn't pitched well of late. He was real good early in the season. R.A. Dickey, it is what it is. It's a guy that throws the one pitch, and that pitch is just full of hope because he's got no idea what's going on. And you and I'm sure you've had no problem in your career hitting a dead 80-mile-an-hour fastball.
Yeah, that's the problem with Stephen. He's kind of openly admitted it now. I mean, his next start is Thursday. It's supposed to be 94 and humid, so good luck. But we'll see how that one goes against the Yankees. And by the way, that's the game A-Rod is pitching. But, yeah, he gets to the point where, he's fastball. And I tell you what, his fastball can actually get up to about 87, which I think is even worse. Like, I play with Wakefield, and when he tried to gas you up, he came at you with about 78. So he was still below hitting speed. But if I'm a hitter and I got 2-0, 3-1, and I know he's 87 is beautiful, right? Like if you throw the ball 70, 75 miles an hour, I might get myself on. I'm out in front of it. That's like a position player pitching. But he's been great. He really, even his last outing, he was outstanding. And I think guys like that, and emergence of Mookie Betts, Xander, Pedroia staying healthy, and obviously the first half of David, although he's slowing down right now, I think is more of a reason why they're there. And the reason why maybe they're not in first place is because of David Price.
Is that all?
Yeah, I barbecued, as you know this, because we talked to you about it right after the Boston Red Sox signed David Price. I absolutely barbecued our organization for a good month to 2 months. But we've replaced that with 15 wins in J-Happ and a guy who could quite possibly be the ace of the staff on already the best rotation in the American League in Marco Estrada. So, all's well that ends well here in Toronto, I guess.
Well, I really should listen to you guys more because I know you were down on David Price. And by the way, at this point, you guys can have John Farrell. I mean, you guys you can take him back if you want.
We don't want him.
I just the in-game management right now, to me, and people can say, well, managers in the big leagues, they only cost a game or two. Well, I still believe you got to put yourself in the right position. he's completely lost in the National League game. I don't think he's ever heard of a double switch, and it's just frustrating to watch. And there's a lot of talent in this team. I know he won a World Series, but you come in last a couple years in a row, and it's frustrating. So you guys, I think you guys are on to something up there. I should listen to you guys more.